from WBBZ-TV Sports. It's time to beat the champ. Now, here are your hosts, Paul Peck and Sue Novoitsky.
Well, hi, everybody, and welcome to Beat the Champ with Hall of Fame bowlers Sue Novoitsky and Janelle Saban. My name is Paul Peck. It is week number 3 of our month-long stay at the Kerns Ave Bowling Center. Tyler Molina, the red-hot Tyler Molina, coming back looking for his 6th consecutive win, Sue. But he's facing some pretty good challengers. Pete Maduri is a rookie, but Bill Swiat and Pat Brick have combined for 11 Beat the Champ show appearances.
Well, Pete Maduri is a rookie, but he's a rookie with 25 300s and an 848 high. So I think he's up to the task.
All right, sounds like our first match is going to be a good one. I thought you were going to respond to the Tyler Molina hot streak with an Argyle outfit today.
Not yet. I got to see if he keeps it up, then maybe I'll go out and get one.
All right, we're going to hold you to that. So it's Tyler Molina trying to keep the winning streak going. That's our first match, so let's get rolling. So here's our first match of the day, Tyler Molina and Pete Maduri, and we've talked an awful lot the last 2 weeks about what Tyler Molina has accomplished, Sue. He has won 5 matches in a row, all coming in his debut on Beat the Champ, and in those 5 matches, a pretty incredible 234 average. You know, what we've seen Tyler do very well is start very strong, put the pressure on his opponent, and then if his opponent pushes back a little bit, twice in that 5-match winning streak, Tyler has come to the 10th frame needing a double to win, and he's done it.
Right.
So he's been as clutch as anybody that we've had, aside from being a really good bowler. And as you've talked about the last 2 weeks, he has the perfect style for the conditions here at Kerns Ave. Right? Because of that.
Yeah, it almost looks like we're replaying every match we've seen so far. He's got his lucky outfit on, and starts with his strike.
Right. Well, as
he's a nice kid, you know.
As you said in the open, this is a pretty formidable opponent in Pete Maduri, even though he is making his Beat the Champ debut. 29 years old, from Kenmore, New York, a product manager, but a guy who has just moved back to Western New York, which is probably why he hasn't been on the show yet. But you know him as a very accomplished Western New York bowler.
Yes, I've known him since he's been a kid, as a matter of fact, and he's a very talented guy, dedicated guy. You know, we talk about tournament bowling and seeing different conditions and how that's an advantage when you come to a place like this where you move houses all the time, and he is an experienced tournament bowler.
At Beat the Champ TV, hashtag Beat the Champ, and like us on the Facebook page for all of the latest results, schedules. Our next month's trip will take us to Transit Lanes. So any updates that you need to know on where we're going and what we're doing, there's statistics from 2006 on the website, all the information that you need on the Facebook page, and follow us on social media as well, too. So Pete Maduri right off the bat looks like he can match Tyler Molina for strikes, sound of strikes, and throwing it through the back of the lane ability.
That's a perfect way to say it.
So we got 2 powerful bowlers here, and this should be quite the match. And as you mentioned, the outfit, we've already crowned Tyler as most fashionable bowler in 2017, even though we're only in February. It's a challenge out to the rest of the guys, but wearing the colors of Canisius College.
If he breaks all the records, we don't have to wear that outfit next week, do we?
You know, it might be kind of fun, actually. You know, and we kind of half kidded that if Tyler's going to show up in that outfit, he better bowl well. Guess what? He has. And once again, starting with strikes, Tyler has done that consistently in the 3 matches that he bowled last week and winning all 3. He opened with 4 strikes. He opened with 6 of the first 7 and 7 in a row in his 3 matches to open with. So he's a guy who puts the pressure on right away. And I think you as a competitive bowler will say, that changes your mindset when you're bowling well and all of a sudden your opponent's going, uh-oh, I can't mess up.
Right. Right. We've seen people bowl really, really well, and he's just heads them off.
Well, as the show has gone on through 2016, we've seen a lot of bowlers like Tyler, big backswings, powerful, blow it, as I said, blow it through the end of the alley. And those guys haven't always been successful. Why do you think Tyler's been so successful here at Kerns Ave?
First of all, he's consistent. He's consistent and he's accurate. He hasn't been throwing the ball all over the lane. He's been hitting his target, and he's been maintaining that enormous ball speed. And he has the right ball in his hand. He's using a urethane ball. So we'll talk about that more when he's up. Pete himself is no slouch, as we can see.
Yep, been bowling since he was 8 years old, and there you get a look at the Castellone Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram scoreboard, manned as well, as always, by Janelle Sabin, she's got so much practice on writing an X, it must be the most perfect X of any handwriting anywhere in Western New York. But as we mentioned with Pete, a 235 average down in Texas, where he was living until recently, and he's moved back up here to his native Western New York. So he was bowling well down there, and he's carrying that over to here. And there is our first throw that didn't knock all 10 down, and a big cluster of pins left in the middle as that one hung to the right side for Pete.
Yeah, he missed his target to the right there, and these lanes aren't that forgiving. So when you see these guys striking as much as you see them striking, it's because they really are throwing it that good, and they really are being that accurate. We just talked about accuracy, and that one got right of his target and didn't recover as well, and leaves a tough spare. You got to make this spare, but it's not an easy one.
So if you're not sort of powering your way down the lane with the right alignment, you're going to run into this kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's very important that they maintain their ball speed and their target. It was on the 3 tips, so there's not a lot of forgiveness here.
Tyler Molina is 25 years old, from Cheektowaga, New York. Works in insurance at the Lawley Agency. Has been bowling since he was about 4 years old. Lefty, as you're well aware already, cumulative average that may have gone up over his performances the last couple of weeks, but right around 232, and has a good crowd of folks here cheering him on. His parents, his fiancee Kelly, and his friends Jeff and Lori here as well too at the Kerns Ave Bowling Center. And he and a couple of his teammates responsible for getting the program resuscitated over at Canisius College, and that's why he wears the blue and the gold so proudly. Well, after the run of strikes for everybody in the first 3 frames, each guy has run into a little hiccup here in the 4th.
Yeah, that shot went a little high on him. He actually did get that a hair inside of his target, but this guy's created a little wiggle room because of that high ball speed that he has. And I alluded to the urethane ball. Urethane balls aren't really used as commonly anymore. After plastic and after rubber, urethane was the next great thing to come along. But as the lane conditions, as the lanes got more oil on them and the consistency of the oil changed, the reactive resin and the higher performance balls came out. So he's got most everybody still has kind of a urethane ball in their bag, just in case you run into something like this. So if you think about it, these are kind of like older time lane conditions, and they call for an older time bowling ball. So he's got a urethane ball.
Natural wood lanes here at the Kerns Avenue Bowling Center. Back to the strikes for Tyler Molina.
This feels like a good time to take a short break. We'll be right back with more action on Beat the Champ. Welcome back to Beat the Champ. Let's get back to the action here on WBBZ-TV.
I'm here with Pete Maduri, and we know you're a great bowler, or you wouldn't be here. But you have another passion. Tell me a little bit about it.
Yeah, we do a lot of drag racing around the Northeast, and been doing a lot of traveling lately. We're actually ranked number 5 in the world right now in a couple classes, so kind of summer sport and a winter sport.
Yeah, so you're great at 2 things.
I don't know if I'm great. I try at both of them, so see what happens today, but got to have bowling on the mind. Got a tough competitor here, and see what happens.
All right, well, I hope it goes great for you.
All right, thank you.
8th frame for Molina. Got it, 2 in a row. Particularly with the open and the spare by Pete Maduri, that is exactly what Tyler wanted to do.
Yep, this went from a 3-pin game to a 25-pin game.
That's how fast it changes,
right.
huh?
And we talked about converting the spares, and we know that converting the spares is first and foremost what you have to do.
Again, if Tyler wins this match, it will be his 6th consecutive victory, which will tie the Beat the Champ record set last year by Mike Zarcone and Matt White for most consecutive victories. And and even the 6 wins, launches Tyler into our top 5 most victories. And
Nice
if you want
shot.
to check out the stats, we keep the stats all year. We put some of the stats on our Facebook page from 2016, and we'll keep a new fresh set of them for 2017 as well too. So, and right now at the top of the 2017 stat sheet is Tyler Molina.
But it's beat the champ, you know, and he's a great champ. And it's nice to have someone, you know, carry the throne for a little while.
And once again, that tricky 10 pin is really bugging Pete here.
It's hard to change, you know, when you're hitting the pocket and you're hitting the pocket well, and you've had a little success. It's really hard to change balls, change where you're standing, change where your eyes are. But when you can't get a pin out, you almost have to.
It's like the first cream-colored bowling ball I think
I'll
we've
say
seen
that's-
on the show.
Looks like a snowball.
It does, appropriate for today's weather.
Well, Pete's a big storm guy. Storm bowling balls. That's all he throws. So he's got a big Storm logo on that white ball. So that's advertising there for Storm.
He also was practicing with a gold ball, which I thought was actually kind of cool looking. We haven't seen him use that yet.
Yeah, that's an IQ. That's a Storm ball as well.
10th frame for Pete Maduri. Good strike right there. I don't know if it's going to be enough, but he's trying to go out in style here. Here's Janelle Sabin and the Castellone Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram scoreboard showing you that we are headed down the stretch here. Just did not get that left-hand turn that he needed, and that's the second time he's left that cluster of 4 pins. Does that have a nickname?
That's a bucket.
Of course it does.
That's a bucket.
The fact that
Come on, you know
I
that's
didn't
a
even get it
bucket.
out of my mouth before
You know
you had
that's
it
a bucket.
ready is you bowlers are wearing me out with this. All right, well, he emptied the bucket there, and he posts a 2:03 final score for Pete Maduri. So final 10th frame here for Tyler Molina. On his way to a 6th consecutive victory.
Yes, he will be moving on to break the record. Now,
A chance to break that
chance
record.
to break the record.
But he's going to have to beat a pretty solid veteran, beat the champ bowler to do it.
We've seen some pretty impressive bowling out of Tyler, though, so this streak is well deserved.
Absolutely, and you know what's been interesting is this is already his 3rd show. You know, as he came in as the 2nd match of the 1st show, won those 2, swept the next 3. Now on his way to a 2nd match and show number 3. Beat the champ featuring Tyler Molina. We have to change that on the TV listing. So one more for Tyler to post up a final score. Advance on. Bill Swiat will be next up as the opponent for Tyler Molina, trying to end his 6-win match-winning streak. If he keeps winning, we are all going to have to show up in Argyle pants
I know.
for next month. Somehow I think you might actually own a pair of those.
Maybe in a skirt.
Yes, no,
Maybe in a skirt. I had some pretty wild skirts in my day.
238 to 203, our final score. Another win. What else is new for Tyler Molina? He'll go for a record 7th win in a row in our next match. But first, we'll check in with Pete. We'll preview the match when Beat the Champ returns to the Kerns Ave Bowling Center. Well, Pete Maduri just moved back to Western New York about a month ago. You get dropped in and you have to face the red-hot Tyler Molina. Tell me what's going through your mind as you're trying to keep pace with the guy who is just as hot as anybody right now.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, kind of ran into a freight train there. You know, I threw some decent shots, had some carry issues, but he is definitely the guy to beat right now. Bowled a decent game, but nothing for him. He's looking strong.
Yes, he is. Well, it was good to see you back in town, Pete. I know we'll see more of you on Beat the Champ. Dan Adams from the Kerns Avenue Bowling Center got something for Pete there.
Yeah, man, on behalf of the Kerns Bowling and proprietors of Western New York, we'd like to present you with this and welcome home, and thank you for participating.
Thank you very much. Yeah, very
All
nice
right.
facility here.
Good match for Pete. Tyler Molina keeps rolling on. His match against Bill Swatt coming up next on Beat the Champ.
I'm here with Bill Swatt. He's not a newcomer to our show. He's been on a couple Beat the Champs now. What do you see here at Ideal Lanes is different from some of the other places you've bowled?
There's definitely a lot less oil. Definitely have to keep the ball speed up, and any mistakes are going to go through the nose.
All right, well, that's one of the keys to success that we've been talking about is certainly ball speed and managing the dry conditions. But what's your approach to the lane today?
Like I said, just keep the ball speed up and try not to make any mistakes. And 9 and 10 for me have been quite a few more 10 pins than normal, so making my spare is going to be important too.
All right. Another key to success. Well, good luck today, Bill. I'm sure you'll be fine.
Thank you.
Will Tyler Molina face a challenge from Bill Swatt and end the winning streak? We are about to find out. Swatt versus Molina, second match of the day here at the Kerns Avenue Bowling Center, as Tyler Molina goes for his 7th consecutive victory, which will set a Beat the Champ record. Now, Bill Swatt's a pretty solid bowler in his 5th appearance on the show, so he knows what it takes to get it done, but I don't think there's any question that we know Tyler knows what it takes to get it done, too.
Tyler's just picking off these right-handers like they're grapes.
And I was just to say, will he start with a strike like he always does? And the answer there is no. I think in the previous 5, he started with a strike in the four of the 5. Maybe even all 5. I could check here for a second if you want me to. Nope, he spared in his match against Chad Meehan, but so it's 5 of the 6. So it's a spare in the first frame for Tyler Molina, and we get our first look at Bill Swatt. As I mentioned, 5th appearance here on Beat the Champ. 2 wins and 3 losses. 1 trophy win came at Classic Lanes earlier in 2016. 31 years old is Bill Swatt from Cheektowaga, New York. Works for Urban Insulation. Been bowling since he was 6 years old. I'll tell you a little story about his dad in a moment. And he gets it a little bit too much turn to the left and leaves the 10 pin.
Here we go with the ring 10s on for the right-hander.
We haven't talked about ring 10s much at all over the last 3 weeks, so although a little more lately.
Yeah, well,
is that a lane condition issue?
Well, it's an entry to the pocket. It's the angle of entry to the pocket issue because they're throwing it to the right and they're using the drive to create a hit, but it's actually turning around so hard that it's kicking that 6 around the 10 instead of taking it out.
At Beat the Champ TV, hashtag Beat the Champ, and like us on the Beat the Champ Facebook page. Always lively conversations and comments going on the Beat the Champ Facebook page, right?
You can count on the area bowlers for that.
Oh, yes, you can. And a little bit of a wobble and a late fall, and a strike for Bill Swatt in the second frame. So now back to Tyler. Kind of run out of positive things to say about Tyler. He has been so incredibly awesome. As we mentioned, 6 consecutive wins. I'm flat out of compliments.
Well, as it goes on, though, these lanes are inevitably going to change. Even though he's had the left to himself, mostly to himself, he's faced a left-hander or 2.
If you turned away from the TV, I think you know the results of that one just by the sound.
Yeah. I want to say that was a great shot.
We had a nice conversation last week's show with Whitey Heidenberg about the sounds of this place. This place sounds great. And when Tyler's throwing it the way he is and Janelle keeps writing those X's up on the Castellone scoreboard, it's a perfect marriage of the two. "25 years old from Cheektowaga, New York is Tyler Molina. And that sounded much different, as you might imagine.
Well, I didn't say it because I didn't want to jinx him, but he went light on that last shot, and I was just wondering if the lanes were changing for me. He was fishing around, making adjustments, and now I got to think that that's the case.
All right, so what's he fishing for, and what does he need to find?
Well, the lanes have to be changing for him a little bit, so he wants to look for that spot that's going to give him that same ball reaction he had before.
Remember, this is the 8th match that we've bowled here as we tape our 3 shows.
Right.
So we're 8 matches of wear and tear on the lanes and the oil into the day here. So as we always talk about in our final couple of matches in our 3rd show at a bowling center, the adjustments become more and more crucial. And there's the baby split left by Bill Swiat. Now, I mentioned Bill's dad, John, and John is here watching him. Just bowled his 15th 300 game a couple weeks ago. Bill's pretty proud of that and wanted us to mention. Takes a lot of inspiration from his dad, a lot of lessons from him. Just got to keep up with that.
Yeah, exactly.
Open frame in the 3rd for Bill Swiat as he could not get the split. 11, see, now Bill's got 11 300 career games. Dad has 15, so now Dad got a head start on him.
Yeah, a few years, I'm guessing.
Bill's catching up, sneaking up from behind. High series of 816 for Bill Swiat, 4 800 series for him. Outstanding high school bowler, made it to the States in his high school days. There's a nice one.
Good shot.
4th frame strike for Bill Swiat.
Okay, I think things are going to get a little interesting here for Tyler because we're tied. I mentioned the urethane ball, and the urethane ball, which read these lanes pretty well. But what will happen is something we call wet dry, and the middle of the lane is definitely very wet, and that ball isn't porous enough to really get through the wet into the dry and back through the wet. So I think what's happened here is he's creating a little over-under. So it's too dry in the dry and it's too wet in the wet.
Mm-hmm.
Which it's really exactly what's happening.
Too dry in the dry and too wet in the wet.
Wet dry.
Okay, I gotcha. Somehow I actually understand that.
Well, after all these months, you should.
I know.
So the ball's going to hook too much in the dry, but the oil is going to be too heavy to get the ball through it. So
We're going to be back with more Beat the Champ bowling action in just a minute. Welcome back to Beat the Champ. Let's get back to the action here on WBBZ-TV.
We're in the kitchen at Kerns Ave Bowling Center. I'm here with the chef. So we got good food here. What's the specialty?
Well, we got the best mac and cheese in town, and the best wings. We have different flavors, like Cajun, jerk, lemon, pepper. Basically, we can make up a flavor, anything that you want.
I'd have to try some out, and I hear good things about the fish fries, too.
Oh, yes. Like I said, the best in town with the best sides.
All right, so if you want the best food, the best fish fries, the best wings, you got to come down to Kerns Ave Bowling Center and check it out.
I think it's always better to be bowling well and better and being at the top of the list than anywhere else on the list.
And in practice, when you get your practice shots before you start, you should be throwing another ball and seeing what that ball will do, so you're prepared if you have to change.
Nice ball, one of the nicest of the day for Tyler Molina. That's an 8th frame strike.
Well, you can't count him out yet, because if he can double here, he's going to cut that gap to under 15.
And we have seen him do that before, where you have said he needs to double, and he does. So he's got a chance to double in the 9th frame and set himself up to know exactly what he needs to do in the 10th, unless Bill Swiat can put him away before that. There's the double that he needed.
I'll tell you what, as much bowling as I've seen, watching people come up and make shots like that never gets old.
No, it doesn't, because you understand the pressure, you understand what's going on, floating around in the air around you, and adding to the layer of just throwing a strike is having to throw a strike. Well, so now that goes back to Bill Swatt. He has to throw some strikes. 9th and 10th frames for Bill.
Shot.
And he responds to the pressure as well too. Where do you learn? Where do you learn how to handle that kind of part of the pressure? And
do you know that some people have it and some people don't?
Okay.
And you'll take like a Liz Johnson, who is one of the most unassuming, quiet, sweet people, not at all aggressive or intensive, but when she's in that situation, she can channel all that emotion into concentration. Not everybody can do that.
Just couldn't get that 4-pin to go.
But I'll tell you that the more times you see it and the more times you're in that situation, the better you're going to get at handling it. So I think that alludes to Tyler, where he's been in that situation a lot of times. College bowling, you're in that situation almost every single tournament you bowl. You just get used to it, and the more you've had success doing that, the more you're less worried about it.
So Bill Swatt gets that spare, and he'll have one more to post a final score. Obviously, a strike is going to be the preferred result.
So Tyler's going to have to come up and double.
I was going to say, can Bill clinch here? No, he
No,
can't
he cannot.
clinch. Even with a strike.
Nope.
And the results are much less than that.
Well, that ball was kind of inconsequential. He needs it double no matter what.
Okay, so it's a 214 on the board for Bill Swatt. So I believe this is the third time in the 6-match winning streak for Tyler Molina that he has come to the 10th frame needing to double. Guess what? He did it the first 2 times.
It's got to start with the first one, though.
Got to start with the first one, but not an unusual circumstance. And this is where you have made the very
And
excellent
what lane
point.
is he on?
He is on lane 10, which he at times has struggled with, right? But
Well,
it's been his better one.
It seems where he's always been when he needs that double in the 10th. It feels like
That's
he's
true.
always
It's
on
always
lane
been
10
on the right.
because he's always started the matches because that's his choice as the high
Correct.
qualifier.
He needs a double to win. And he does not get it.
Oh, that pin is
And
rocking.
it's still moving, but it won't go down.
What a great day of bowling he's had.
So, unexpectedly, the results were not what we thought they would be from Tyler.
What a run. What a great
Incredible
run.
The run will come to an end, though, as Bill Swatt's going to knock off Tyler Molina. But to sum up, a 6-match winning streak for the 25-year-old from Cheektowaga. An incredible run. His first 6 beat the champ matches. That's incredible in itself. But he ties the record of most consecutive wins, and that record will still stand at the moment for 3 guys: Mike Zarcone, Tyler, and Matt White. As his final score goes up on the board of a 203. But what an incredible run for Tyler Molina, and he has established himself as one of the guys to beat here in 2017. But it comes to an end at the hands of Bill Swatt. So we'll talk to Tyler about this incredible run and preview our final match of the day, Bill Swatt and Pat Brick. That should be a good one. When we return, it's Beat the Champ at the Kerns Avenue Bowling Center in the city of Buffalo. We're back right after this. Welcome back to Beat the Champ. Dan Adams, the proprietor here at Kerns Avenue Bowling Center. You had the line of the day when you walked up to Tyler Molina. What'd you say to him?
I thought I was going to have to just give him the keys to the place at the way he was going.
Yeah, the 6-match winning streak. That's what I really want to talk to you about, Tyler. Just take us through it. The confidence level that you had, the fact that you had a couple times where it came down to the 10th frame where you had a double and you did. Just take us through all those 6 matches, or at least just in general how you felt.
Yeah, I mean, I would say each one got a little easier as you went, each match, and also, getting down to needing that spare, needing that double, and it's never easy, but you just gotta block everything out and take it one shot at a time, and I was able to do that for most of the games.
All right, no keys, but you do have something to give them, don't you?
Congratulations, man!
You.
On behalf of Kerns Bowling and the proprietors of Western New York. You earned it, man.
Thank you.
All right, and you put yourself in the Beat the Champ record book, tied for the longest winning streak of 6 wins in a row, and you'll just have to come back next month and start a new one.
That's the plan. Transit lanes, I'll be back.
All right, well, sounds good. I'm pretty sure we're going to see him too. We've got our final match of the day. It's coming up. Stick around. Beat the Champ continues right after this.
I'm here with Pat Brick, another left-hander we're going to see today. Do you think the left-hand side plays a little bit better here than the right?
I would say maybe it plays a little smoother than the right does. There might be a little more over-under on the right, but with the amount of lefties that have bowled, I think that's going to maybe even things out a little bit because there's been a lot of play on the left-hand side now. Probably, arguably the same amount as on the right, but the right-hand side of the lane is a little more beat up than the left, so I think that's why the left-handers have had the success they've had today, or this round of shows.
Well, you're one of the premier left-handers, so I'm sure you'll be able to figure it out. So
We'll give it a shot.
All right. Well, good luck today.
All right, thanks.
Our final match of the day features Pat Brick taking on Bill Swatt. It seems odd to say that there's no Tyler Molina in one of these matches. It's been a couple of weeks since that happened, but Bill Swatt, after the victory, means he's got to take on one of his good buddies, and Pat Brick, who Pat says he always seems to struggle when he bowls against Bill. So we'll see if that continues at all today here or not.
Well, we've got another capable left-hander in Pat Brick, so that side of the lane isn't going to it's not going to get cold.
6th Beat the Champ show appearance for Pat Brick, one of the greats in Western New York bowling history. And that's why, with a good start. He has 6 wins and only 3 losses in his previous Beat the Champ show appearances. 2 weekly trophy wins. Those came at Batavia and at Classic Lanes. And now Bill Swatt, fresh off that win, 214 to 203 over Tyler Molina, will face the next challenge as he tries to come up with a winning streak. And he'll leave the pesky 10-pin in the corner. At Beat the Champ TV, hashtag Beat the Champ, and like us on the Facebook page for all of the latest information, updated schedules, all the qualifying information that you'll need to know, and the taping dates for next month at Transit Lanes, all available on the Facebook page.
Good spare.
Spare to start off with for Bill Swatt. Good solid win for Bill over Tyler Molina in the last match, as he sort of spun the tables on Tyler, where he put the pressure on him, and then Tyler couldn't respond in that 10th frame when he needed to because Bill had built himself a nice lead.
Yeah, those lanes changed just enough for him to make it a little more confusing to him as to how to play him.
And there's that 10-pin once again hanging up. These two guys know each other well. There'll be a running commentary that will go on. It already has started between the two of them. So Bill's...
I think Pat's just trying to play some mind games, trying to distract him a little bit.
Oh, is that how that works? So it spares in the first 2 frames for Bill Swatt, and we go back to Pat Brick, and we figured, well, that's as good an opportunity as we can to get some real bowling talent from the Brick family on our TV show. And we welcome Pat's daughter and Angela's daughter as well, Madison. It's the first time you've had a chance to see Dad bowl, right? How that pesky thing called school keeps getting in the way, doesn't it? How you liking this so far?
Good.
What's it like to watch Dad out there doing what he does best?
It's fun to watch my dad bowl sometimes because I go there on Mondays sometimes. So, and yeah, Mondays, and I watch my mom and my dad bowl all the time.
Are you, how much of a bowler are you? How much do you enjoy bowling? I know you're good at some other stuff, but...
I like bowling. So I don't bowl that much, though.
You're busy with a few other things, aren't you?
What is it you like to do?
I like dance and gymnastics.
So you're athletic. You'll bowl someday.
Right. You got some good bowling genes, though, between your dad and your mom, right? So somewhere along the line, you're gonna be pretty good at this, I think.
Yeah.
Where do you go to watch bowling?
Sometimes I think it's either classic lanes or Mandarin.
Oh, your mom bowls too, right?
Yeah.
So Pat makes his way off to the third frame here after a spare second.
So you see Dad strike a lot. Sorry.
I was just going to say a strike in the second and a spare in the third for Pat. And we turn it back over to Bill Swatt, who had spares in the first two frames. I want to ask you, Madison, in a moment here about the fact that your dad asked you to be the one who presented him when he went into the Greater Buffalo USBC Hall of Fame a couple of months ago. And I happened to be there, and Sue was there too. And you did one heck of a job. How much fun was that, or how nervous was that?
I was nervous a little bit. Because, I'm used to standing in front of people, but not like that many people.
There was a lot of people there, weren't there?
Well, you're in front of more people now, I hate to tell you.
Yeah.
Another spare for Bill Swatt, so he's open with 3 consecutive spares. So now you said on Monday nights you get to go hang out with Mom and Dad when they go bowling together, right?
Yeah, sometimes.
What do you do to keep busy? Do you like just watching them, or?
I play there sometimes with other kids that are there.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I can cheer them on sometimes.
There's a strike from Bill Swatt in the fourth frame.
So if Dad's able to win tonight, did you work out some kind of dinner deal or something special you can go put tonight?
Yeah, my mom bought a movie for us all to watch.
Awesome.
Now, Sue, you can certainly tell everybody that, Madison's mom, Angela, is one of the outstanding female bowlers in Western New York. Tell everybody a little bit about some of her accomplishments.
Oh, no, Angela has been around a long time. We've bowled together for years. We've come up from the college ranks together. And she's got 4 300s and an 800 herself. And she's had a record with a women's doubles record that lasted for a while. So, she's been around and she knows her stuff. And she's also active in the association. She does a lot of work for bowling, so we need people to do that. So it's a very noble thing to do.
All right, so Madison, if I asked you who's the best bowler in the family between Mom and Dad, you don't have to answer if you really don't want to, because I don't want to get you in any trouble, but what do you think?
Both.
Both, see? There you go. Could there have been a better answer?
No.
Very well done.
The action will continue on Beat the Champ in just a minute. Welcome back to Beat the Champ.
Against a whole new set of qualifiers. And just like it's been a year since our stop here at Kerns Avenue, it'll be a year from our last stop at Transit Lanes, which came in March of 2016.
Right. We were talking about how managing one of the keys here was going to be managing these drier lane conditions, and we've seen Bill, whether it be because of his back and he can't stay down well enough, but he's definitely hitting those dry boards and getting splits because of it.
Yeah, and that's the second open frame in the last 3 for Bill Swatt, and whether it's the back or the lane conditions, obviously affecting his game here on the second set of the back side of the frames for Bill Swatt. So now a real chance for Pat Brick to take control of things here. And that's a pretty good way to do it. That is 4 in a row for Pat Brick, 4 strikes in a row. You might very well be the good look charm here, Madison. He may want to drag you to all of his bowling performances from now on in. If he can keep rattling off strikes like that.
We'll talk about luck. Pat is actually in today because the bowler that was in 9th place couldn't make it. I had something come up, and Pat was the alternate, and so he got in by someone else not being here.
Right, but there was also a 3-way tie for the final spot, of which Pat was in that, so they had a 1-game roll-off, and if I'm not mistaken, Bill was the one that won that. Bill Swiat was the one that won that, and then Pat was the alternate, and then everybody moves up because of the circumstance that you just said.
Well, he was meant to be on the show.
That is true. Spare pickup for Pat Brick.
And with that spare, he was guaranteed the win.
So there you go, a victory for Pat and a return trip for him. He's going to come back and bowl again. That'll be going to go down as Pat's 7th Beat the Champ victory. And those 2 open frames really kind of killed Bill Swiat's effort. Well, that's a nice bounce back in the 9th frame. And the Castellone scoreboard tells the story, headed towards a victory for Pat Brick. And more than likely a continued co-hosting role for Madison in shows moving forward. You liking this TV thing? Or yeah, I can see you're nodding over there. You're liking this TV deal, aren't you? You can't wait to get back and tell all your friends. And there you go, a little high five from Dad. You can't wait to tell all your friends that we're on TV for a little while. Well, yeah, I know how it is, and I'm sure she will. So, and guess what? You've got like 3 weeks of build-up before it actually appears on the air. So you're going to be your job to keep reminding them when you're going to be on. So Bill Swiat's going to finish things out here, post up the final score, and then let Pat finish things out. And a nice strike for Bill. 201 goes on the board for Bill Swiat. And now it's up to Pat Brick to post his final score and advance on in 2 weeks.
He's thinking it's a good place for that one.
So our 3-week run of Beat the Champ competition comes to an end here at the Kerns Ave Bowling Center. Don't forget, we've got a great exhibition show for you coming up next week, so make sure you join us for that. But Tyler Molina was the story here at the Kerns Avenue Bowling Center. His 6 consecutive wins. The streak only ended by Bill Swiat in our last match. And Pat Brick's final score goes on the board of a 233. So it's Pat Brick who advances on to next month's shows at Transit Lanes against an opponent to be determined. But Brick comes up with the victory. We'll talk to both guys and get you ready for next week's show and talk about 2 weeks from now when we return. Hey, Madison, you got a future as a bowling commentator. Are you in?
Yes.
She's in. Dad's in too. The whole Brick family dominating the airtime here, and there's nothing wrong with that. Hey, thank you for joining us. Good job. A little bit easier doing it in front of 2 people than a couple of hundred, right? Yeah, you know how that works. So we'll talk to Pat and we'll talk to Bill. We'll wrap up our show when Sue and I return to the Kerns Avenue Bowling Center right after this. 133 to 201 our final score as Pat Brick comes up with a victory over Bill Swiat. What was all this pre-match talk about him? You always beat him. He never can beat you.
I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know what he's talking about. He's in the Hall of Fame. I think he's a little better than me.
Well, I don't know about that, but you put up a good fight here today as well too, and obviously the win over Tyler Molina was pretty significant, ending that winning streak. So all in all, not a bad day.
Not a bad day at all, no.
Right, and Dan's got a little more for you to make it even better day.
On behalf of Kerns Bowling and Proprietors Association of Western New York, we want to thank you for your participation. This is for you.
Thank you very much.
All right.
All right. Thank you, Dan. Sue, you got to chat with our winner there.
Pat, what was it like to have your daughter here watching you bowl?
It made it all worth it. The win obviously is a nice second place, but having her here and watching and being up with you guys, I'm very thankful for that. That was great.
Yeah,
I know she's very happy.
She did a good job, so my job was offered to her, so I guess she's in training.
I know, I heard that, but I think you're going to be here a while.
And I think I know what the family plans are going to be 2 weeks when Pat's bowling again. Madison better be there as well too, right? So we'll see Pat again in 2 weeks. Sue and I will come back to wrap up our 3-week stay here at Kerns Avenue and get you ready for next week's show when Beat the Champ returns right after this. Back at Kerns Avenue Bowling Center as we wrap up this week's stop and our this week's stay, the final of our 3 weeks of competition. And even though Pat Brick comes up with the win and moves on, I think Tyler Molina was the story of the Kerns Avenue Bowling Center.
Yes, well, we started with a lefty and we ended with a lefty, and Tyler was also a left-hander, but we said we were going to get new faces and new antics and somebody new familiar, and boy, did that ring true, didn't it? We have a new familiar face here now.
Yes, we do. So Pat Brick will move on and come back 2 weeks from now at Transit Lanes. You keep promising the Argyle outfit, so if Tyler Molina is back at Transit, are you going to come up with that or not?
You know what? I'll be on the hunt for it.
All right, she will be on the lookout for Argyle. Anybody knows where to get to Argyle, let her know. We've had a wonderful 3-week stay, but we're not done here in the city of Buffalo. A ladies bowling championship is part of our exhibition show. That's next week. Make sure you join us on Beat the Champ.